it's meant to be, then it will, God willing. God willing. Sky's the limit, and I'm busting out the ceiling. Starting to get to the point where I don't catch feeling. Just counting these millions, I need 100 a show. If you can't pay, it's enough. I will never sell my soul. That's the truth, Lord knows. All I need is good vibes, so I don't trust these hoes. I done lost my bros. That's just how it can go. Came a long way, get it straight. They want the food on my plate. They don't want to see me strive, but want a piece of the cake. All I need is good vibes, and everything will be great. But they rather tell lies. I don't have time for the fake.
What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, GRANxJEFE. Get ready for another episode of Unpopular Opinion. Today is Wednesday. I know you guys haven't seen me in a long time or heard my voice in a very long time. Didn't do a show on Friday. Didn't do a show on Monday. But here I am back in full effect. Let's go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. What we here for today is talk some sports. But before we do that, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GRANxJEFE, GRANxJEFE, all one word. Also, make sure you guys follow the Unpopular Opinion Twitter page at Unpopular 2018. On Facebook is Unpopular Opinion 2018, and on Instagram it's Unpopular_Opinion 2018. I have all those links available to you guys, so you guys can just do your thing whenever you download the podcast. It'll be right there in the description, so you can just go back and look. Also, some big news before we get started. I forgot to tell you guys some big news before we get started. The RTL Sports Talk podcast is now 4 days a week during the weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday now at 7:45 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9:45 Eastern Time, and on Sunday, same time. So we're now four days during the weekday, and on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Let's go ahead and get this show kicked off, though. Let's start with some college football. The rankings came out yesterday. I really didn't expect too many changes to be made with the college football playoff rankings. We do have a bunch of big games that we are going to preview coming up on Friday. More than likely, we'll probably do that as well on Friday with RTL Sports Talk. The Unpopular Opinion podcast could be moving around, could be shifting around. It could be at 10 a.m. or 12. I haven't really decided yet, whichever work, because the Unpopular Opinion, or it may just stay right at 11 because the RTL Sports Talk is early in the morning. But the news will be out on the proper podcast. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with some college football, man. The rankings came out last night. Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Michigan remain the top four. Oklahoma, Georgia followed behind. Really didn't expect too many changes there. Now, this is where I thought that we would see a bunch of changes. And where I thought we would see a bunch of changes at was with that UCF jumping Ohio State. I figured that would happen, being that Ohio State struggled again on Saturday with Oklahoma State. And this week they got Michigan. That's the reason why I picked Michigan to win in Ohio State, because Michigan is a good football team. They are a much improved football team than what we saw from them at the beginning of the year when they played against Notre Dame. This is not the same team. I believe right now, if they play Notre Dame, they will beat them right now. They will beat them the next 2 out of 3. If it was in my opinion. So I figured the win with UCF, coupled along with the demise of the Ohio State Buckeyes, I figured this team would stay put right at 10 for another week. And it seemed like that's what the committee said. The committee, to use their words, also said the UFC looked better than Ohio State. That tells you something, that the committee is not putting a lot of faith in Ohio State. They are the lowest one-loss team in the country out of the Power 5 conferences. You normally don't see that, especially out of a team like Ohio State. But they're not playing good football. This makes 6 weeks in a row that they have trailed, and the committee is now showing them, listen, unless you win out Ohio State, there's no way I think Ohio State gets into, there's no way I think Ohio State gets into the college football playoffs unless they win out and they need a lot of help. Which means that would include the number 4 Michigan. That would include going to win the Big Ten, the Big Ten East, obviously, winning the Big Ten title. And then you will have to hope that Georgia can possibly knock off off Alabama. You got to hope that USC is going to beat Notre Dame because this is USC's last game with no conference championship. So you got to hope USC beats Notre Dame. You have to beat Michigan yourself. You have to win the Big Ten, and you're probably going to need one more team to lose. You're either going to need Clemson, because Georgia is going to automatically eliminate themselves if Alabama win. But that doesn't do you no good because Georgia's not in the college football playoffs currently. So you're going to need Georgia to beat Alabama. That'll obviously give a spot to Georgia. You got to hope that the committee values your Big Ten championship run and not put Alabama in there because they think Alabama is still the best team in the country. So do a lot of people. So for me, Ohio State is on the outside, on the way outside, looking way in. If you ask me, I think Oklahoma is prime. They got a big game with West Virginia coming up on Saturday, so they should be pumped. They should be excited for that. That's going to be their test. They win, then they're more than likely going to be in because I expect one of these top 4 to stumble a little bit. I believe Bama is going to beat Georgia, so that's going to take care the hurdle. So that won't have to worry about that. Obviously, Georgia's number 6 in the country, anyways. But I think Notre Dame will slip. They will slip to USC. I'm not a strong proponent in this Notre Dame football team. They are really good. With Ian Book, I just don't think that they have enough. I think they will slip. But if they are undefeated, if they do go on and beat USC on Saturday, then they are in the college football playoffs. There's no way the committee is going to keep a undefeated Notre Dame team out of the college football playoffs. Michigan is going to beat Ohio State. They're going to win the Big Ten. So that's another good case for Notre Dame. We beat another team that's in the top 4 right now in Michigan. I don't think Clemson loses, and I don't think Bama loses, which I think those would be my top 4 as it stands. Those are going to be my top 4 going forward. I think Oklahoma is going to be left out, and Georgia is also going to be left out, obviously, because Georgia is going to lose to Bama. I think Oklahoma is going to get left out just off the basis of nobody may lose. Now, I'm thinking Notre Dame could lose. Not saying that's a guarantee. I'm just saying that UFC have the ability to beat a Notre Dame who could be slipping, thinking that, okay, this is our last game. All we got to do is win and we're in. You can kind of catch those guys slipping. So that's a really good chance for a decent USC team to kind of build hopes going into the bowl season, going into next year. But I think Bama, Clemson, and Michigan, I'm solid on those. I don't see neither one of those teams losing for the rest of the way. Alabama's going to take care of Auburn on Saturday in the Iron Bowl. Clemson is going to beat Georgia Tech. Michigan is going to beat Ohio State. And I think everything is going to be the way that it's supposed to be. Only wild card to me, and it's probably not a wild card to a lot of teams, is Notre Dame USC, which I think they ultimately is going to pull it out. But I do not think that this Notre Dame team is a very good football team at all, by no stretch of the imagination. Moving along to the big story of today. LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers travel to Cleveland to play Cleveland. This is LeBron's first time playing Cleveland since he left for LA in the offseason. I think this is going to be about as a good game as it was the first time LeBron came back in December of 2010 when he dropped 38, 15 to 25, 5 boards, 8 assists. I think we're going to see more of that. Right now, LeBron on the season is averaging 28, 8 and 7 right now, or 29 because he's averaging 28.8, 29, 8 and 7 right now on the year. I think we're going to see those rebound numbers dip just a little bit in this game because I can guarantee you if I know LeBron like I know LeBron, LeBron is going to be looking for his shot early. Now, it's not going to be as intense as it was the first time. You know, that was a crazy environment the very first time when him, Dwayne Wade, and Bosh came back and they played the Cleveland Cavaliers. We seen the signs, LeBum, you know, Dan Gilbert had just wrote the letter saying we'll win a championship and all that other stuff before you. Called him a coward, said that he quit. The atmosphere is not going to be quite like that. He did win them a championship, you know, the only championship that Cleveland has. I think this go around, should he get booed, I'm gonna take a cop out answer to that, and I'm gonna say yes and no. I think that you probably boo him. On the floor during warm-ups, you know, during the lineup. I think you don't boo him. There's really no reason to boo him at that point. So for me, yeah, boo him at the start of it. I mean, boo him in the game, but I think he deserves an ovation before, during lineups and all that other stuff. So for me, LeBron, what he's done for that city, and he's still very much involved in that community. Obviously, he got the school open, you know, the I Promise school, you know, that's legendary. So he's still very much involved in Cleveland, in the Cleveland community. So I don't think it'll be as harsh this time. I think some people are gonna boo, but I think for the vast majority of the people, I think they're gonna appreciate, you know, what he's done for that city, what he's done for that team, how many jobs he brought back to that city. I think they're gonna appreciate that. Just to note, he has a lot of friends still left on that team. You know, he is still really cool with a Channing Frye. He is still cool with a Tristan Thompson. You know, so I don't think that situation. You know, Larry Drew, the interim head coach, you know, he never had a problem with him. So I don't think it's going to be as harsh. On the court, I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to be looking to get his shot, looking to get his shot there early. You know, Clarkson is their leading scorer at 15 points per game. They're 2-13. They're 2-5 at home. I expect it to be 2-6 after tonight. He's going to get it going early. His teammates are going to be wanting to feed him the ball. He's going to want to do good as he did against Miami when he dropped 51 the other night. He's on a road now that he's taking control of the offense. You know, in the offseason, you know, there was a thing, him saying that he didn't want to be on the ball as much anymore. So when he picked his team, he wanted to go to a team where he could play off the ball. Reason why he went with a team that got Lonzo, a guy who can handle the point. Then they went out and got Rondo, a veteran guy, a championship battle-tested guy. So for me, that goal just wasn't working. Now that LeBron has the ball in his hand a lot more, you're starting to see a lot of different things happen, a lot of different things go on. So I'm looking for that to be more intimate tonight. I really think that's what I'm gonna see. Probably like a 40 point tennis. I didn't mean to say low rebound output. Excuse me. I mean to say low assist output this year. Obviously on this team, he's averaging a little bit less assists this year. A lot of those guys aren't real shooters as he had in the past. He's always been around teams that had shooters. Mike Millers, Chalmers, Battier, Ray Allen. You know, Kyrie could shoot it. Kevin Love could shoot it. Chris Bosh could shoot it back then. They went and got a Kyle Korver, J.R. Smith, Channing Frye. These type guys on this team, on this current Lakers team. You don't see that with a lot of these guys. So the assist numbers are down. Expect to see them go even dip a little bit even more tonight because he's going to be getting the rebound and on the break. He's trying to look to get his score. So I say at least about a 40 point night. I would say 11 rebounds, about 5 assists tonight for LeBron. Moving along to tomorrow, Thanksgiving game. Hope everybody have a good Thanksgiving tomorrow. I know I will. We will be on RTL Sports Talk tomorrow, 7:45 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing the show tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune into the RTL Sports Talk YouTube page. That's RTF Sports Talk. All 3 words separated. We will be there tomorrow. And that's where I'm going to make the game picks. Today, I'm just going to give you a little preview of the games, what I think could be the biggest matchups, the biggest challenges that both teams are going to face. I'll give you just a little bit of facts. We're going to start with the first game, the Bears and the Lions. Mitchell Trubisky is a little bit banged up. This could be prime opportunity for the Lions to steal a game, put everybody else back in that division, right back into the hunt. The Bears are 7-3. The Lions are 4-6. So, a 5-6 could really change that around. The Bears would drop a game. But right now, Trubisky is hot. He is hot. That team, is 20-9, completes 65% of his passes. But the Lions are also 3 at home. 1 game above 500. This could be their perfect opportunity for them to get back in it. I think Matt Nagy is really the MVP of this Bears team. The stuff that he's doing with Mitchell Trubisky, getting him easy throws, getting him in rhythm throws. I think this guy is the biggest reason why Mitchell Trubisky is doing as good as he's doing this year, which is exactly the reason why I always say that about my Cleveland Browns. Matt Nagy is exactly what Mitchell Trubisky needed, which is what I'm hoping that my Cleveland Browns do for Baker Mayfield. Now, I don't really care who they hire at head coach. It just happened to work out for guys like Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Mitchell Trubisky, that, Patrick Mahomes, that their head coach is also their offensive coordinator and has been proven to be some of the greatest offensive minds in football. So, yeah, if you can get lucky and get your head coach that's also that good at calling plays, because if you guys know anything about me, I'm really not all that well opposed to getting guys that to be the head coach and guys to be, the offensive coordinator. I just don't. I've never liked that. I've never liked that at all. So, but there's few that can do it, and the ones that can do it, by all means, by all power to you. Go ahead and do that. But for me, the Cleveland Browns don't necessarily have to hire a offensive-minded head coach. What I'm more concerned with is whoever the guy is that's going to be dealing with Baker Mayfield the most, the guy who's going to be who he's going to be talking to, the guys who's going to be in his ear, the guys that's coming up with the play schemes. I think that guy needs to be a young-minded offensive coach. When I mean young-minded, I'm talking about college-level offenses. We've seen the offense that Pat Mahomes in. Spread them out 5 wide or 4 wide with a running back in the backfield. Let me do my thing. We seen a play the other night. The play that Kareem Hunt scored on. Where Patrick Mahomes faked the jet sweep. I believe it was to Sammy Watkins. He faked the dive to Kareem Hunt. Fake and then looked left as he was going to throw a screen pass over there, came back right to Kareem Hunt, and off to the races Kareem Hunt go. We see that type of offense work. We see with Sean McVay, the stuff that, all the eye candy that the defense have to deal with when facing these teams. We see this stuff. So that's what I want for the Cleveland Browns. Get you an offensive coach that does what Baker likes. As an offensive coach, it's all about being adaptable. It's all about making adjustments. Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coaches in the game, not just because he can coach, because Bill Belichick knows how to make adjustments. When something is not working, we're going to do something different. Not we're going to stay the same. That makes no sense. If it's not working, it's that it's like that saying, thinking that you're going to get different results doing the same thing. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. So get a good offensive-minded coach. What Matt Nagy is doing for Mitchell Trubisky, and watch it work. Moving on to the second Thursday night, not Thursday night, but Thursday day game, Thanksgiving Day game. One of the other traditional opponents, just like the Lions, which is the Dallas Cowboys, are facing the Washington Redskins at home in Jerry World. The Redskins are banged up right now. Broken leg by Alex Smith last week. They're missing about 3 offensive linemen. They're missing their running back, Chris Thompson. They're missing the wide receiver in Jamison Crowder. They are a banged up football team right now. So is the Cowboys on the offensive line. Now, one thing that the Cowboys do have working for them is that they got a good pass rush. DeMarcus Lawrence, that guy is every bit of advertised. Van Der Esch and the guy that they got from out of Notre Dame a few years ago, Jalen Smith. This is, that defense is for real. That defense worked big time. But the strengths, the things that they don't do well is on the offensive side of the ball coming with Dak. Dak has had back-to-back 200-yard game. Good job for him. But that tells you something when that's something that I'm actually mentioning, that he had a 200-yard passing game in this day and age where offenses are throwing the ball all over the field. What Patrick Mahomes them did the other night, 500 yards of passing. That's what we see from other guys. We don't see it from Dak, But they are playing a veteran guy in Colt McCoy who's been on this team for 4 years, who's been in this system. So it's not like he doesn't know the offense. It's not like he's coming into a new situation and never done it before. Now, although he hasn't started a game since 2014, he did play in 2 games in relief for Kirk Cousins last year. But he hasn't played much. He hasn't started since 2014. But we're talking about a guy who knows his opponent. He's played against the Cowboys before. He won against the Cowboys back in 2014. So it's not as if he's unfamiliar with this team. Now, although that was a different Cowboys team, it's still the Cowboys, Now, this is a game that the Cowboys probably should win. But these are also the type of game that the Cowboys normally tend to lose. So it just all depends on what's going to show up. So we got the Dallas, that Dallas pass rush, who was just nasty against the Washington run defense. Taking away, the Washington Redskins are going to be one to take away what the Dallas Cowboys do well, and that's run the football with Ezekiel Elliott. You stop Zeke, you probably got a good chance of winning the game, because the Cowboys goes as Zeke goes. They don't go as Dak Prescott. They go as Ezekiel Elliott goes. Ezekiel Elliott gets over 100 plus yards rushing, you could probably much book it that the Dallas Cowboys won that game. When you see games when he's under 100 yards, it's up to speculation. Seven times out of 10, they're probably going to lose that game. Now, the Dallas Cowboys are 3-1 at home this season, but the Washington Redskins are also 3-1 on the road this year. So you're going to have a really good divisional rivalry matchup, the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins. This game came down to a field goal kick in the first meeting between Dallas, where the lone snapper got whistled for a flag for moving the ball. They made the first kick. The penalty came, wiped that away, moved it back 5 yards. Maher, he missed the kick. So this game is going to come down to the very end. It's going to be good. Adrian Peterson is having a really good resurrection season. He's probably going to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark this year. He's at 735, I believe it is, or 736. He's somewhere in that range. He's been playing really good. Ezekiel Elliott, he's 47 yards away from eclipsing 1,000. He's at 953 right now. He's having a really good season. Now Dak is starting to heat up because this offense, this running game has been heating up for him. So if Ezekiel Elliott come out and he has a good game, expect Dak Prescott to have a good game also. Dak Prescott is one of those quarterbacks that need help to succeed. Colt McCoy is also in over his head with this pass rush of the Dallas Cowboys. You best believe that they're going to get at him early and often. They're going to be sending blitzes from everywhere. Twist, stunt, late blitz, delayed blitz. They're going to be lined up in things where they look like they're not blitzing, and they're going to be coming after Colt McCoy. They're going to want to see how he reacts to this pressure. As I mentioned, a guy who has not started a football game since the 2014 season. This is not going to be an easy game for him, coming in, knowing what's at stake. The The Washington Redskins are one game ahead of the Dallas Cowboys at 6-3. The Dallas Cowboys are at 5-5. So this game means a lot. It has a lot of playoff implications on the line. This game is going to see who takes the lead in the NFC East. We'll see. Pick coming tomorrow. Moving along to the Falcons and the Saints, the team that I think is the best team in the NFL, the team that I think is going to win the Super Bowl. But this is a division rivalry game. This is a rivalry game. We know about the Falcons and the Saints, but that dome, that Mercedes-Benz Superdome, that's a tough place to play. A tough place to play, especially right now with Drew Brees as hot as he is. It's going to be a really, really tough place to play. You know, Drew Brees is as hot as ever. He's right now probably my MVP. I know a lot of people are still going to say Patrick Mahomes, but I just think the way that Patrick Mahomes has performed in big games this year, the 3 big games that I think that he had, I thought he came out kind of slow. I thought he came out kind of flat. Now, he does have 37 touchdowns on the year, 10 interceptions. He's more of a gunslinger. But I did a stat yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. I did a stat yesterday about Patrick Mahomes and Drew Brees. Here it is. Patrick Mahomes is 264 completions, 391 attempts, 3,600 yards, 3,628, 67% completion percentage, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Pretty good. Listen, man, that's amazing. But you got Drew Brees, who's 257 and 334, 57 less attempts, 2964. So he's about 700 yards short, 664 to be exact. I forgot I wrote that down as well. 664 yards, 57 less attempts, 77 completion percentage. So we're talking about a way more accurate guy, 25 touchdowns to 1 interception. That's no slouch for Drew Brees, who has the best record in the NFL right now, or who will be tied for the best record with the Los Angeles Rams. I think this is the best team in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints. So if you're telling me right now, he could probably not catch the touchdowns, but who knows? He's only 12 touchdowns behind. So you're telling me in 57 throws, if Drew Brees had 57 more attempts, he couldn't get 664 yards? Now, Pat Mahomes is having a really good season. Don't want to take anything away from him. But I'm just letting you guys know what this guy Drew Brees is doing. 57 less attempts. He's only 664 yards away from Pat Mahomes, 12 touchdowns off, with a 77 completion percent rating, 25 touchdowns, 1 interception. This is your NFL MVP, folks, Drew Brees. But he is playing against a Matt Ryan who has also been kind of hot himself. Matt Ryan is 22 touchdowns on the year, 4 interceptions. This guy's having a really, really good season. But the problem is not a lot of people are talking about it. Why? Because they're not winning. Matt Ryan is having a really good year. 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's a really good year. Julio Jones, 73 catches, 1158, 3 touchdowns. He finally got on the board a few weeks ago. I fully expect him to get in the end zone again. Not probably. I fully expect him to get into the end zone tonight. One time, I think he gets about 9 catches for about a 110 and a touchdown. Michael Thomas, 82 receptions this year. Over 1,000 yards. Listen to this stat right here. Now you're talking about a quarterback's best friend. Let me tell you about a quarterback's best friend here. We're talking about out of 91 possible catches, he's been targeted 91 times this year. This man has caught 82 passes. 91 targets. This guy has caught 82 of them. We're talking about only 9 passes that he has either a drop or just wasn't catchable balls or good plays by the defense. That's crazy. I look for him to be the X factor tomorrow on that terrible Saints defense. I think Michael Thomas gets about $150, 2 touchdowns tomorrow. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Make sure you tune into RTL Sports Talk tomorrow at 7:45 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for those game picks. Also, make sure that you guys tune into the Unpopular Opinion podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right now at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays right here on Spreaker. The podcast will also starting next week, be uploaded up into YouTube. The YouTube page is at Unpopular Opinion. YouTube page, Unpopular Opinion. Make sure you guys follow the Twitter page, the Twitter Unpopular Opinion page at Unpopular 2018. My personalized Twitter at GRANxJEFE, GRANxJEFE, all one word. Also, the Unpopular Opinion Facebook page at Unpopular Opinion 2018, all one word. Unpopular Opinion 2018, all one word. And the Instagram page at Unpopular_Opinion 2018. Thank you guys for downloading the podcast. I thank you guys for all the support that you guys give me. Continue to download the podcast. Big things are coming for the podcast. I appreciate you guys.
If it's meant to be, then it will, God willing. God willing. Sky's the limit, and I'm busting out the ceiling. Starting to get to the point where I don't catch feeling. Nah. Just counting these millions, I need 100 to show. If you can't pay, it's a no. I would never sell my soul. That's the truth, Lord knows. All I need is good vibes, so I don't trust these hoes. I've lost my bros. That's just how the game goes. Came a long way, get it straight. They want the food on my plate. They don't want to see me smile, but want a piece of the cake. All I need is good vibes, and everything will be great. But they rather tell lies. I don't have time for the fake. Who would've knew? Praying to God, asking what do I do? I've been the truth since I came out the womb. Keep it 100, got nothing to lose, got nothing to fear. Let it be clear, God got my back.